Welcome to the 30-second Hayley-Roxanna Crafts quick crochet video, where I share information, hints and tips on one area of crochet in a short video. In this video, I am focusing on yarn over versus yarn under. So by yarn over and yarn under, I am referring to how you manipulate the yarn around the hook to create a stitch. Yarn over, which is the term most often used in crochet patterns, refers to taking the yarn over your hook, like so. Whereas yarn under means having the yarn under the hook before pulling it through. So that would be that way. Okay, and pulling it through like that. But what difference does it make? Well, as you will hopefully see in the following demonstrations of me making double crochet stitches in UK terms or single crochet stitches in US terms, using a combination of yarn overs and yarn unders, it will show you how the two different ways can actually change the appearance and tension of your work. So the standard way when you're crocheting is to always do yarn overs. So if I'm making a double crochet, I will pop my hook in, take the yarn over the hook to pull it through, and then take my yarn over my hook to pull through the two loops to complete a double crochet. And you get that sort of V shape in your stitches. There's like two lines that you can clearly see. But does it matter if you take the yarn under instead of over both times? So to do a double crochet using yarn unders, you insert your hook into the stitch just as you normally would, but then instead of taking the yarn over like that, you want it to go under your hook to pull it through. And then again, instead of going over, you're going to take it under your hook and pull it through. So I'll do that one more time. So insert, then take the yarn under your hook and pull through. And then take it under the hook again to pull through the other two stitches. Yarn unders tend to make the tension of your stitches tighter, and it sort of gives your stitches almost like a crossed look. It's harder to see the legs of the stitches when you use yarn unders. But I do find the biggest difference is with the tension. It's a lot tighter than when I've just done yarn overs. But what happens if you combine yarn overs and yarn unders? So combining yarn under and yarn over gives a different look and tension again. So if I do a yarn under and then a yarn over to make my double crochets, I would do them like this. So I insert my hook and then take my yarn under to pull through, but then go over to do the second pull through. Okay, so I'll do that again. Insert the hook, and then I'm not taking my yarn over, I'm going under, so the yarn's under my hook to pull through, but then over to pull through again. This produces stitches that are tighter than the two yarn overs, but not quite as tight as when you've done the two yarn unders. So here are the three samples next to each other so you can see the differences. So we've got stitches done using two yarn overs, stitches done using two yarn unders, and the double crochet stitch done using a combination of yarn under then yarn over. You could also do double crochets with yarn over and then yarn under if you want to see how that looks in comparison. I tend to use the two yarn over version in most of my crochet work, and I would recommend this method for beginners just because it's slightly easier with the tension. However, when making amigurumi, such as this bee, I tend to do the yarn under, then yarn over method, as I find this makes the stitches tighter so that the stuffing doesn't show through, but not so tight that it makes the process of amigurumi more difficult than it needs to be. But that's my personal preference. You can do whatever version you're comfortable with. There's no right or wrong. And you can even experiment using yarn unders and yarn overs with the different crochet stitches if you want, to see what effect it gives and whether it will make a difference to your work and maybe make it better or worse. If you have any questions about yarn over and yarn under, please pop them in the comments. And in the next quick crochet video, I will discuss crocheting left-handed.